Channel 5 Network, this is Morning Line with Nick Barris.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. The morning after some big football game last night. Maybe you watched, maybe you didn't. But hopefully you're up watching us right now. And we're going to get to the phone lines and get into everything with you. If you want to talk, not football, we're talking about your pets, dogs, cats, and the like. In fact, there was some kind of puppy bowl last night. I forget what they were calling it. Where they didn't really play tackle football or anything.
They have it every year.
They have it every year. You're
Yeah.
right. They're just, anyway. I hope that you're well this morning and you're ready to join us. The number on the screen, 737-7587, to talk with Ask the Veterinarian, Allison Fields, who is shaking off last night a tough overindulgence into the buffalo chicken dip.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
Overindulgence into the buffalo chicken.
I had like this little bit, and I'm taking the majority of it to work today.
Oh, man. Lucky them.
Yeah.
It's good
hey,
stuff.
Did you know that one of the puppies in the puppy bowl was from Nashville?
I had seen that. I had seen that. Did you see it? Did
give
you
a shout out to Nashville Humane Association.
Shout it out. Yeah,
right?
I think they had them from around the country.
They do. They have them from around the country every year, and I don't know how they go about picking them, and I kind of feel like they can't have that long to pick them because then they're not puppies anymore. So it's not like something they had planned in March.
Yeah.
You know, it's got to be a pretty...
Yeah, I know. And I heard when they do this, it does increase adoptions across the board. What an awesome audience to see that. And then you see these wonderful dogs. And hopefully here, Metro Animal Control, we all know, has a lot of dogs up for adoption.
Yep.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. There's a local one there, and I'd love to see that. So anyway, did you enjoy the game?
I did. I really
didn't have a dog in that fight.
Didn't have a dog in that fight.
Yeah, I just wanted a good game. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, it was. It was a little,
Okay, well, we'll get back into it now this morning. 737-7587 if you have questions for the vet. I was going to start things off. I did a special report last week on, what law enforcement now thinks. There is a group or groups in the state of Tennessee and actually across the country, it seems like now, stealing dogs. And that's not a news flash. We know that happens. But there's been a real spike in some areas recently. And I do the story just to raise awareness and tell folks, about it. And now I'm getting flooded with photographs of people whose dogs, which is fine. And my heart breaks for them. But so many dogs are vanishing.
Yep.
For a variety. What do you think when they're being stolen, what do you think is happening to them? What are the different options? I mean, I know what I touched on, but in your experience, are they being resold? Are they being bred?
I doubt that they're being bred as much because so many pets are already fixed. But yes, resale is huge, especially on your cute little purse dogs, as I call them.
Sure.
The little bitties that fit in your purse, those disappear and they get resold. There's also dog fighting rings that we'll use them as
the
bait.
bait dogs, that's just awful. Awful stuff, And
I mean, we have a fenced yard that is locked from the inside. Nobody can get in our yard to get our dog. We don't let her out. I love an electric fence for many reasons, but I hate them for a lot more reasons.
Someone can walk right across and pick your dog up.
It doesn't stop another animal from coming in your yard and attacking your dog. It doesn't stop somebody else some person from coming in your yard and taking your dog. I mean, they're great to keep your dog in your area, but it doesn't really protect from the outside world at all.
No, that's a great point. And most of the people that I've heard from and met myself are responsible pet owners. There are those out there who just get dogs and let them run free and then they disappear. And you never know, God forbid, the poor animal gets hit by a car, gets lost, or that's different. These are people who I think maybe even for an instant let the dog out to go to the bathroom and trying to keep an eye, and all of a sudden it's gone.
Right.
And they vanish. And, some of the options, some people, texted me saying, well, what about, getting them chipped? And that's not a bad thing if your dog is recovered, but I had to remind them it's not the same thing as a GPS. There is such a thing as GPS collars. The problem with that is
you take them off.
Yeah, anyone who steals your dog. Now, GPS collar would come in handy if a dog ran off and got lost in the woods and you had to find it. But a collar's not going to help, right? There's no GPS, to your knowledge, that's injectable like a chip?
No.
Okay.
They're all collars.
Because it's bigger.
Or, the tags that you can get online. What's it called? Tracker or something like that. You can put on your keys. You can also put one on your dog. It's all great until somebody takes the collar off.
Right. So.
And chips are great, but they have to go somewhere to be scanned to find you. So if somebody else has your dog and they just take it to the vet for an annual exam, we don't scan new dogs.
Right.
First, I mean, what would you do if you walked in the vet and I was like, oh, Mr. Barish, you got a new dog. I'm going to scan it and see if it was somebody else's first. You'd be pissed. You'd walk out. You'd never come back.
Wouldn't be good for business, no.
Right. So we don't do that on every new dog that walks through the door. People come in and say, I found this dog, and we scan it to see if it has a chip, and then we can call the owners. But it's not an automatic, let's scan your dog and see if it's who you say it is.
Right. Yeah, you can't be automatic.
No.
Even though I got to be honest with you, if you did that with a dog that I just bought and I found out it was someone else's, I'd want to return it to them. I'm
Yes,
not going to
but
get mad at you.
I know you.
But again, yeah, if someone would be surprised by that, and that's the problem. You know, dogs get resold, someone else gets hold of them. But I have to tell you, Allison, I was surprised. I mean, like I said, it's not new per se. We've always heard dogs getting stolen.
And it
I was
seems to go
surprised
in
at how
waves.
widespread. Right.
Yeah.
And there's a spike of it right now down around Winchester, Manchester, Tullahoma, Estill Springs, where there's just been a bunch all at
Now,
once.
We do need to, maybe you should look into this. TWRA, what's the word I'm looking for? They have had sightings of cougars, bobcats, pumas, whatever you want to call them, down, I know, in southern Tennessee, kind of along that track. So it might be interesting to see where those sightings have been tracked, because it could be an uptick in the wildlife.
That they would be grabbing the dogs. Yeah, that's a great point. I had forgotten about that. In terms
I
of
totally forgot about that.
coyotes or
Coyotes,
cougars.
you're usually going to hear some kind of scuffle.
Yeah.
Like you're going to hear yipping and yiping and your dog screaming and things like that. The big cats are...
And would the cats attack the dog and carry it off? Or
Oh,
would
yeah.
they would take it with them?
Yeah.
Okay, but now typically a bobcat or something, it would have to be one of the smaller dogs that would go after. They wouldn't go after a
Well,
German Shepherd, would they? Or
Your bobcats would be smaller, but there have been sightings, and the TWRA has a posted, points that they have had approved, like trail camera sightings of cougars.
Okay,
the
they're
big
bigger.
guys who could take down a small cow.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Well, and they could be. I'm sure some are taken that way
I mean,
as
I'm
well.
not saying all of them are. I'm just saying that would be an interesting thing to see where this is happening and if there have been sightings there, because
you could be a
that
correlation.
could be a problem as well.
There'll definitely be follow-ups. I'll be doing follow-ups on this, and if we can, certainly if I get any kind of description, and people have said there's vans that they've seen driving, grabbing dogs, anything like that, we'll get that out when we can. But I was stunned at that. So,
Yeah.
A couple other things just before we get going. We've got the phone lines open and some calls coming in. Just thought I'd bounce off you. Anything you want to throw out at the viewers this morning?
Same thing, winter.
Okay.
What are the important things in winter?
Well, you keep the flea control going.
Well, yeah, but like cold related.
Oh yeah, the water freezing out in the back. Boy, that happens
Yep.
every day. If
Yep.
you have an outdoor dog, change it.
Water, shelter. If it's below freezing, dogs probably need to come in.
Yep.
Cats need to come in. Feral cats, I understand you can't catch those, but there's some really cheap and easy way to make some shelters for them. You can get the Rubbermaid, like big pack boxes,
Yeah.
and you cut a hole in them, and you put some insulation in there, and you put another smaller Rubbermaid in there, and then line it with
That's
bedding.
cool, yeah.
Cut holes in it. Put the lids on, insulation in between the lids. So you have a really nicely insulated, for not very much money,
No.
thing for outdoor cats or feral cats.
That's actually great. And as you've told me, the cats will find it.
They will.
Set that sucker out there. You're like, well, they'll never go in there. They're They're smart,
they
and
are.
they'll discover this, and once they know it's safe, they'll go in there, and that is a great idea. I was thinking my chickens, I don't have a heater in there. They have a coop that's sheltered, and it's all that, and I've got a lot of shavings to keep them warm. It's all of a sudden gotten maybe just a little bit warmer lately because they started laying eggs again.
Oh my gosh.
It's interesting. In the winter, when it gets this cold, all their energy is going to keep them warm, and they're doing fine. But they weren't laying it all for the last
Right.
month. But now I've gotten like 8 eggs in the last week and a half.
They'll quit again.
Oh,
Got
I know
cold.
they will. Yeah, it gets warm and all of a sudden they lay eggs and then it's funny. But see about keeping your animals warm. Anything else? Have you seen anything unusual lately? Do pets come in at all ever with frostbite? I mean, if one's been out or their paws, anything
You know,
like that?
I haven't seen a frostbite case in a really long
Good,
time.
good.
But yes, I have seen a cat with frostbite. Ear tips. Ear tips get it on cats. A lot of times, you know, they can kind of curl up and put their feet up underneath them and everything else, but even if they tuck their little nose in, their little ear tips are typically still sticking up. So yes, I've seen cats with frostbite on their ears.
Okay, but other than that, not so much. All right, well, listen, let's take a break. When we come back, the phone lines are open, 737-7587. If you have a question or comment about your pets, anything,
Anything.
try to stump Allison Fields.
Yeah.
We'll be back. If you're on hold, stay there. We'll get to your calls right after this.